Welcome to the Painless Flipping podcast, where we show you guys how to get into real estate investing. And we want to take the pain out of your journey. We know it can be difficult getting into real estate investing, especially if you try to figure out everything on your own. So I bring on experts to give their advice so you don't have to fail and figure out everything on your own. Today, I got an expert, Alex Thorick, my brother, my Canadian brother, right? In Canada?
That's it, yeah.
That's it. We're with my Canadian brother, and he is a master of marketing. So today we're going to be talking about how to use Facebook ads to target motivated home owners. All right. So let's dive right in, brother. Alex, tell us a little bit who you are, and let's dive into how to use Facebook ads to target people.
Sure. So I've been in the marketing space for the last 7 years, working with many different businesses, local businesses, service-based, and we've used Facebook ads quite a lot. So, well, at this point, I guess we can call it Meta, because Facebook has everything under, so it's Meta. Facebook and Instagram go under Meta with WhatsApp and Messenger and all of those platforms that they own and run. So we've been basically helping our clients push the word about their products and services out there and build out systems to generate those leads, because that's what each and every business needs. If you don't have leads, you have no business.
Yeah, that's so true. A lot of people don't really realize, they think that maybe they can get things done with no leads. I don't know why people think that. I used to think that when I first got started. I was like, well, if I just get really good at sales, I'll be able to convert like one lead I get a month. So now you need more leads. You need to generate enough leads for you to have a sustainable business. Would you say a lot of people get that wrong, Alex? Like the amount of leads they need to actually have like a sustainable business?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, like the amount of leads that you need these days is even more compared to, let's say, a couple of years ago, let's say prior to COVID. And the reason to that is because the trust level these days is way lower than what we had before, plus the attention level. So the attention span these days is it's literally under 7 seconds, less than a goldfish. I would say it's at about 3 to 5 seconds. So, and you all can attest to that, because let's say when you go to YouTube, you can skip the video ad after the first 5 seconds, right, on YouTube, or let's say TikTok or Instagram, where you go through those reels and shorts.
Good point.
Yeah, it's like if you're not interested, if the video didn't grab your interest in the first 3 to 5 seconds, next. And I'm the same way. I mean, if I'm not interested in what the person has to say, I'm just gonna scroll to the next one. So it is important for you to have good hooks in order to grab their attention.
Hooks are everything, right?
These days, yeah. These days, the attention is the new currency, pretty much.
You know what's interesting about hooks is we could sit here and think about the best hook in the entire world, and it could still not hook everybody. It could, I don't know what works. Go ahead. Good, tell me.
Sometimes you might, let's say, so there are, of course, certain frameworks that you would use in the video or in the ad copy, right? When you would promote something for the product or service that you want to generate leads for. And then sometimes you go through all of that. You know who's your target audience, the people that you talk to, right? And you put out one of the best ads, or let's say you have a couple of great creatives. And when I say creatives, I'm referring to images and videos. And you think these ones are going to work really well. And sometimes they might flop, and the ad that you were thinking, no, this is stupid, but well, let's try it. That ad is outperforming. So honestly, sometimes you don't even know which one would work. And that's why it's so important to test different things. So when you launch a campaign on Facebook, again, on Meta, so it's both Facebook and Instagram, it's important to have multiple different images and videos, multiple different creatives, so you could test which one works the best. So you don't drain all the money.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing. Like, I know a lot of people have gone through for like quality, right? Like, oh, I want to have like the best camera and the best stuff. Like, and now I almost feel like if you have low quality, people are more interested to stop to be like, hey, why is this guy's quality suck? Like, why is his image kind of blurred? I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I kind of feel like sometimes going against the grain helps.
It's not necessarily that it's the quality sucks and that's why they're watching it. It's more like because people see that it's more personalized. So the other person, so yes, the video itself is not a super high tech, high production video, but people can see that you pretty much you take out the phone and you film yourself, and
Mhm.
that looks more personalized, and
It's
they
true.
kind of have more trust.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I like that. That's true. More trust. So how do you develop trust with Facebook ads, brother? How do you develop trust with copy, like you're saying, with these ads to get homeowners interested?
So these days, it does take. So there's a study that was done by Google. They called it 7-Eleven 4, or at least that's what kind of people started calling it, 7-Eleven 4 rule. So Google wanted to see how much time does it take a person to become a client of a company or customer. So basically, how much time does it take a person from not knowing about the company to becoming their client? These days, on average, it takes a person to consume 7 hours of content, have 11 touch points across 4 different platforms. And when I say 4 different platforms, it could be, let's say, you run ads or you post content, you do the outreach. So let's say maybe they see your ads on Facebook, Instagram, plus maybe you're reaching out to people. Or let's say if they do fill out the form or they reach out to you, now you have their contact information, email, and phone number. So now you can follow up with those people. So
Wow.
yeah. And that happened
A
because
lot of
of
work, man. That's a lot of work to get a hold of somebody, man. 4 platforms, what is that? 7 hours of content
send out.
consumed.
Yeah,
Well, good thing I got a lot of content out there.
there we go. You're on the right path.
That's
Yeah,
crazy,
yeah.
man.
And the
So
reason to that is because
Mhm.
there is a lot of information out there today, and everyone is trying to get people's attention. And you pretty much need to fight with every cat video, as I like to say.
dude, those cat videos. So, man, sometimes I'm with my wife and she's just watching stuff. I'm like, what the heck are you watching? And then I put my stuff out there and I'm like, no wonder I know, it's hard to get people's attention. I'm fighting the cat videos, man.
That's the case these days, yeah. So that's why it's important, in order for you to start getting those leads coming in. It's important to build the trust. One of the best things that you could do, just like Nathan, you're doing, is record a video of yourself. So let's say if you decide to run it as you decide to run ads, record a video of yourself explaining why. So you could use a framework where you would have a hook, or you could use a pattern interrupt with a hook. So pattern interrupt is something that's not typical. Let's say when somebody, I'm sure you've seen this type of videos or ads where somebody's kind of knocking into the camera. So that's a pattern interrupt because you don't see that every single day, right? Or somebody is getting, I don't know, outside, like behind the tree.
Yeah, doing
So
something crazy, man. Doing something
yeah,
crazy.
you got to be creative. Yeah, not yeah. So you can stand out from the marketplace, basically.
I like that. That's
Then
good, man.
you would have a hook, which would be part of that. So you could merge them together. So you could call out the audience, right, with that hook. Then you would have a 1 sentence statement. So let's say something that's related to buying a house or selling a house, and not maybe necessarily because so a lot of times, just like we had a conversation prior to the interview, many times people don't necessarily want to sell the house with an agent.
Mhm.
So that's something that you could also use for yourself, and
I'm
start with that statement.
So I'm writing this down. So
Yeah,
pattern interrupt,
yeah.
number
Pattern
one,
interrupt.
right?
It takes about like a second and a half, second or two.
And you're
Because
saying
again, we
like
want
knock the camera, like knock or like cough
knock
or
on
do
the
something.
camera. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you said
Then
hook.
then you do a hook. So the hook could be basically the call out. Let's say, are you a homeowner living in this area?
Okay.
Something like that. Yeah. So it's kind of a some people call it, well, it's not some people, it's in the world of marketing you would call it dog whistle marketing, where you're
Mm-hmm.
calling out specific type of people and only they will react to it, because everyone else, let's say if they don't own a house in that area, or maybe they own a house but not in that area, they're not going to listen, and
I
you don't
like that.
necessarily need those people. Yeah. Then
Okay.
after
So
that you have, go
yeah.
ahead.
What else? What else? That's
Yeah,
it.
so after the
Keep going.
hook, it's a one sentence statement. So that's where you could mention something about not necessarily working with the real estate agent, that there is another way of doing things.
Huh. It's as
And
simple as that.
yeah, then right after that, you would basically tell people, I would say 3 to 5 points, give them 3 to 5 points on why it makes more sense to go with you compared to a real estate agent. So you can have multiple different ones, right? So working with a real estate agent is just one example, or not working with them. And basically give them 3 to 5 points explaining what makes more sense for them to work with you. And then at the end, there's a call to action. So for the call to action, it could be either click the button below or literally message me. Because these days, people, they feel more comfortable chatting with someone compared to,
I've been seeing some people. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say compared to, let's say, talking to people on the phone, which still works. I mean, it works. It always works, and I'm sure it will always work.
It's so interesting. Yeah, because I've been seeing a lot of people that are like, hey, go to this CTA or go to this. And a lot of people, what I'm hearing is they want you to comment more, because if you comment more or like ask your question here below, because then it gets more engagement on the post versus.
Yes,
Yeah,
it does it does give more engagement on the post. That will push the post even further, and you don't need necessarily to spend as much to reach as many people. And if you want to use that type of strategy that you mentioned, so there's a tool called ManyChat that can help you automate the process. I'm sure you guys have seen all these posts that, let's say they say comment the word, I don't know, the specific keyword. People comment that, and that triggers the bot, which is the ManyChat, and it sends you the message in the DMs. And that's where everything happens. Within the DMs, you could send people to the landing page where they need to fill out the form. So let's say share, basically tell you what type of house they have, maybe, or just at least to give their contact info like name, email, phone number. But even if they're not necessarily going to fill out the form through the landing page, you at least have them inside of your DMs, and you can just go in and chat with them as a real person.
It's a lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff going on these days. It's hard to keep your mind straight, to be honest. There's a lot.
A
lot of bots out there.
I agree. Yeah. No, I remember using ManyChat back in 2018, 2019 with our restaurant clients. And then all of a sudden, a lot of marketers started using ManyChat specifically for basically to create that engagement and to push people through DMs.
Man, it's still going. And honestly, I think the algorithms are becoming more like smart about that. And I honestly think sometimes the chat, like the comments, like sometimes I don't think it, like if it's manipulated or they got to be able to tell, right? They got to be able to tell like if it's legit or not somehow. Cause I don't know if that works as well as it used to. Cause I used to do it way more, but then I realized like even with like 100 comments sometimes, like, cause you can manipulate that stuff to make it like really big. Sometimes you feel like, oh, man, this isn't really working it like it used to. I don't know if you agree, but I feel like sometimes it doesn't work.
It depends how you use it. So if you want to chat with people within DMs and you want them, so let's say instead of sending, let's say you have a video of you talking and then the call to action, send me a message. So right under the video, they would have to click on send a message in order to start the whole process. So instead of doing
it through ads, right?
Yeah. So then in that case, like instead of doing it this way, the ad itself is not going to look like an ad because there is no call to action, especially when you run it as an engagement ad, as an engagement campaign. And when you say comment below, that triggers the bot on the back end and it sends the message. So
you can make it look like an organic post.
An organic post, yeah. So people will a lot of people they won't necessarily see right under the page where it says sponsored.
Gotcha. Yeah. Because I almost feel like sometimes when things are sponsored, people are like less likely to like look at it, right? Like I look at someone that's sponsored, I'm like, man, they're trying to sell me something. I don't know if you feel that way, but it's almost the same thing with Google. Like when you go on Google and the very Google ads, pay per click pops to the top. Sometimes I just scroll to the next one. I get rid of the ads because I'm like, man, let me see who's really at the top, not someone that's paying to get here. But anyway, I don't know if that's you. Sometimes I do that.
Honestly, I kind of have the same mindset, I guess, or I'm doing things same way for some reason. Maybe because I've been in the industry for a while and I'm like, just next.
Yeah, not only that, but I also like when people pay to be on those spots. If I'm not like 100% sure, I know it costs money to be at the top, so sometimes I don't want to click and like cost them all that money. maybe for smaller, I don't know. Like I know when I'm like, for example, home buyers, like in my industry, if I'm looking for something, I don't want to, because some of those clicks can be like on Google, like $500, like a click.
Some of
Especially like when
them,
it comes to real estate, you know?
yeah, yeah. Well, 500 is quite quite a high number, but I've seen that as well. Yeah.
Well, I've had, so I ran the Google pay-per-click in Salt Lake City, Utah, trying to get motivated home sellers, like homeowners that want to fill out forms.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I was paying like $500 a click. It was insane.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
That
it
is
was
insane.
not yeah, it was not cool because if they click on it and they don't fill out a form, you're like, bro, what the heck?
I know. And
It's
sometimes
crazy,
people would
man.
just click by accident.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like,
That
oh
happens
my
too.
gosh.
Yeah.
So what you've given some amazing advice on like how to create content and how to create good ads that will engage people with a simple framework. I appreciate that. Where can people find you, and what service or I guess what do you provide like to the people that are going to hear this that you could help them with?
So they can find me or they can reach out on any social media platform. It's Alex Thoric, pretty much everywhere. They can also go to our website. It's buildingincomeondemand.com. We have a lot of free resources that they can look into. We have
Will you
different
repeat that one more
frameworks.
time?
Yeah, it's buildingincomeondemand.com.
Building income on demand. I love it.
Yeah.
.com. Go check it out, everybody. Alex, do you have anything you want to leave our listeners with? Any advice, anything specific?
I would say if you do decide to run ad campaigns with Meta, so with Facebook and Instagram, give it a little bit of time. Because in the beginning, especially if you're just starting out, people will not necessarily know who you are. And also when you start running those campaigns, start locally. So that way you'll be able to reach more people in a shorter period of time. So you can pretty much manufacture that 7-11 4 rule that we talked about.
Yeah, man, that's 100% true. I wouldn't run my own ads like unless I had someone that had that experience to show me, because you're basically just you're testing. That's basically what you're doing with running ads. So if you don't have like additional information or like knowledge or experience, you're gonna not get results probably in like a week. You're gonna spend money. You're gonna be like, this doesn't work, and it's like, well, it was working. You just don't know how to understand it, right? And after spending that's the kind of the problem with ad spend, is like the money goes quick if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, and also make sure that there is a product market fit. What I mean by that is that you have a good offer for those people. So make sure that you position it properly, because if that's, let's say, if people see the ad, like you can literally run any ad on any platform these days. So there is no, because a lot of times I do hear people say, well, I don't have enough traffic. There is no problem with traffic. Like you can pay any platform and get as much traffic as you want to, as many eyeballs. But then the goal is to convert them into reaching out to you and becoming leads and then eventually clients. So
it might be there's always traffic, like you're saying. You can pay for traffic, but the conversion is what's important.
Yeah. So it's really it's really the offer that you'll have for them. So make sure that it speaks. You use their language. And when I say use their language, put yourself in their shoes and think of what they would want to see when they see an ad from you.
I love it, man. I love that. Cool. Well, I appreciate you being on here, Alex. And if we're gonna meet again, we'll probably hang out in Canada one day. We'll never know, brother. All right, man. Appreciate you coming on here. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks for having me.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's Nathan Payne, and for the first time ever, we just released this insane training bundle that has literally everything that I've learned from doing a combined 4,000 deals in real estate, all from starting with absolutely no previous business background experience or any real estate experience. Plus, there's over $19,000 worth of free gifts that we're throwing in, all for an insanely low price. If you want to get your hands on this, be sure to click the first link on the description below right now.